Hello, everyone, and welcome to this one-to-one video discussion. My name's Aaliyah Pollock, and I work at RICS, also known as the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. We're a global professional body with over 130,000 members, focused on setting standards and advancing knowledge in land, real estate, construction, and infrastructure. Today, I'm excited to be having a one-to-one video discussion with Pratheek from Appricing about technology adoption in real estate. We will be exploring why the real estate industry has been slower to adopt new technologies compared to other sectors, and also looking at some of the challenges of implementing PropTech solutions in such a fragmented market. We'll also discuss how AI and automation are reshaping the industry and what opportunities lie ahead for technological disruption in real estate. Before we move on, a bit of background to myself. I'm a former geospatial analyst with experience in both the military and construction sectors. After a while of working in these roles, I decided to take somewhat of a career change. And now, in my role at RICS, I'm responsible for analysing how AI, data, and technology are impacting the built and natural environments. And as part of that, I run the RICS Tech Partner Programme, which is a collaborative community that works with our tech partners to create thought leadership content to ultimately bridge this gap between the surveying profession and tech innovators. I'm particularly interested in understanding how companies like Appricing are working to drive transformation in our industry. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Pratik to give a bit of background to yourself, history, and the company.
Hello, everyone. I'm quite excited to be on this podium and also Appricing to be a tech partner with RICS. So to give a bit of a background, I'm an engineer by profession and I am the director of Appricing Limited. So I do have about 20 plus years experience in the tech industry, primarily consulting for major big multinational clients. And also Appricing had been giving consultancies to the big MNCs in the past as well. And that is something about my tech background. And Appricing also has a sibling company, which is Approp Limited, and which is into buy to let. And that's where I get most of the experience and exposure to the real estate sector as well. So Appricing is now taking the path of innovation and trying to pioneer in prop tech solutions. And this mostly are the pain points which I have experienced or seen myself from the real estate industry. And I feel the urge and need for a technological advancement for the real estate, adopting much of the progress, like say other advanced industries like fintech or e-commerce or communication. And so, yeah, that is the whole background of this path and this partnership with RICS, and I'm quite excited about the possibilities and avenues ahead.
Great, thanks. Forgive me if you already said, but what are the other industries that you work in? What's most of your background in prior to real estate?
So I would say it's more in parallel to the real estate. So yes, I have worked for automotive, I worked for communication, I worked for payment systems in public transports. So I worked in security systems of buildings. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's
Yeah,
yeah,
great
quite
stuff.
quite vast.
Interesting, vast experience. So let's start with the big question. Other industries have gone digital transformation much faster. Think about how we manage money or shop online now compared to 10 years ago. But in real estate, as we're both aware, we're dealing with a lot of manual processes and legacy systems. So the first question I like to ask is, why do you think our industry has been much slower to adopt new technology compared to other sectors?
Yeah, I agree. As you rightly told, I mean, things have changed much, like with fintech or the way we get a taxi or we get food delivered. Yeah, things have changed vastly. However, there is a feel of lag in real estate sector, and I think the main reason is the real estate sector is highly fragmented with numerous small scale players and the traditional practices dominating in the market. And the fragmentation results in a lack of standardization, which hinders the large scale technology adoption. Additionally, the real estate transactions often involve complex legal and regulatory requirements, which further slows down innovation compared to more centralized industries, you know?
Mm. So
Yeah,
you talk there about all of these vast amounts of players. So yeah, one of the big things that makes real estate unique is how many different stakeholders are involved. As you said, you know, you've got your
yeah,
big firms, small agencies, independent landlords, local authorities, all working
exactly.
with their own systems and their own way of doing things. And it makes it very difficult and it makes it very difficult to introduce tech that works for everyone. So
Complex,
how
yeah.
would you say that this fragmentation creates challenges for companies trying to roll out new solutions?
So fragmentation leads to varying levels and types of technology adoption among the stakeholders, ranging from very large agencies to small firms and even independent landlords. So, this inconsistency creates a significant integration challenge to PropTech solutions as they must cater to diverse operational needs and regulatory environments. Furthermore, the small players often lack the resources to invest in advanced technology, forcing them to rely on traditional methods and slowing the overall pace of innovation.
Before we move on, just in case our audience aren't aware, what do we really mean by fragmentation? Are we talking about data, processes? What do we really mean?
So it's everything. So like different organizations adopting different technologies, the data lying in parts, some of them not digitally available, and some some of them having to fit themselves into technology which is not really needed. So if you understand what I mean, so you want a certain feature and you are forced to buy a whole package
Mm.
for just availing that, and just because of those interfaces they tend to fit the other technologies or the other things to what they have purchased. So it's more like they make a decision to purchase something which is not exactly for them, and then they force the other solutions to fit into them.
Just for my own knowledge, out of curiosity, are there any particular industries off the top of your head that you would use as a good example that aren't so fragmented and are doing well? Before we do jump on and jump ahead of ourselves, I'm just curious to know what industries are doing well in that sense.
So it's more I mean, real estate has a much of a historic path to it as well. It has started much earlier. And if you think about it, probably it is regulated, but it's not as strongly regulated as, say, banking or healthcare. And there could be more regulation or even suggestionary measures for the software that those are being used in those centralized industries. Whereas in case of real estate, it's not that much restricted there. So this has involved a multi-level. So, for example, an estate agent or a real estate broker can um, operate in a very traditional high street manner as well now, and uh, probably run their business in those area, whereas another agency might have gone much ahead in the technology stack as well. Whereas, say, for finance, probably you find it difficult for a bank without a cash machine these days because
Mm.
business automatically pushes them ahead. Whereas I think you could probably still find real estate agencies which are purely high street fashion still in maybe in remote areas, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point. I was speaking to on another panel, and one of our tech partners said how when we look at estate agencies on the high streets, um, they're not targeting for the demographic that they're providing the service for. When we look at the type of people buying houses, what demographics they have, will they realistically be going down high street to go and buy a house? Probably not. And I think that's a good example of how especially me, I've recently bought a house myself, and it's it is quite shocking how undigitalized the whole real estate sector is.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah,
some of them still do erect a for sale board. Some of them do they have digital display boards? Some of them believe in advertising over the internet or using apps and things. So, however, my feeling is that real estate should prioritize the customer experience and convenience, drawing inspirations from other industries, say like finance or e-commerce and communication. And I mean, by implementing seamless digital interfaces, leveraging AI for personalization, and using big data for predictive insights, this can significantly enhance the operational efficiency and user satisfaction in the real estate sector. They can actually focus on secure digital records in healthcare and finance because they offer a much higher standard and they are much more sensitive if you compare it to real estate by offering much robust data sharing framework. So this technological advancement from other sectors, if real estate adopts that, it can simplify the day-to-day process and address the key pain points much effectively.
hmm. Yeah, so we've seen other industries use technology to improve customer experience and streamline operations. In finance, for example, I mean, we've just touched on that, but digital banking has made transactions much easier than ever, and e-commerce has transformed the way we shop. So, what would you say are some of the biggest lessons that you think real estate can learn from these industries?
So real estate has already seen some advancements. You cannot say that it's totally left apart. We can say it's a bit slow and laggy in certain areas, but um, that electronic advertising, virtual property viewings, and online booking systems for scheduling the viewings, making offers. Um, you can see some improvement or digitization there, and the sale processes probably you would have experienced if you bought a house. Uh, there are tools available for market evaluation and statistical analysis, and also this enhances the decision making of the buyer, and there are electronic contracts, digital signing, ID verification. All those things are becoming increasingly popular, and it streamlines the streamlines transactions. And in case if you come to the case of property management, there are platforms that aid in accounting and maintenance, scheduling, and overall management, and this improves the operational efficiency. And if you ask about how technology can further change the real estate market, uh, it has potential to revolutionize the real estate market by reducing the dependency on intermediaries. So more human or manual processes which are involved, say, to view a property or in the process of making offers or interactions, and also by empowering the users with the self-service platforms, so that the users can drive the flow of things at their own convenience and their own time. So the buyers and renters can access the detailed property information instantly through online listings and then schedule the viewings independently
Hmm.
and even complete the transactions digitally. Um, there are advanced tools like virtual property tools, digital contracts, which streamline the process and save time and resources. Additionally, the mobile apps, chatbots, AI-driven customer service have enhanced communication, and this makes the interactions faster and more efficient. By leveraging the big data and predictive analysis, technology can also provide very valuable market insights, enabling the smart decision making for all the stakeholders. So there is much immense potential
Mm.
remaining there. So I mean, on top of the to build on top of the changes which have already happened in the real estate.
Out of curiosity, you've touched on there a lot of technologies that can help throughout this buying process and the whole general real estate sector. Do you think there's too many tools out there? Do you think that so we speak to a lot of prop tech companies that are all trying to solve one little problem within the real estate sector, and they almost all tying together. Do you think that that might be an issue moving forward because there are so many solutions out there that might not necessarily work together? Do you think that it would be much easier if there were less solutions that could assist with like a larger phase of the process?
Um, so yes, of course, when it starts the adoption, there would always be the case of um, too many solutions, and as I mentioned, probably buying a lot just for a little requirement. Um, I mean, as generally in technology, as much as solutions are, loosely coupled and easily adoptable and interoperable, it would be much easier. So, I mean, having a choice is always good, and in the world of technology, the one which is efficient and cost effective would stay, and others will either perish or might get consolidated. However, the technologies which are in anyone who is designing technology solutions, when they make it um, loosely coupled with whatever other existing solutions are there in their framework, and when it is interoperable with other solutions, that would make it much better. Maybe there would be new standards also would come into place, which give the baseline for these tools to operate, or some kind of protocol which would again make things easier. So yeah, I mean, I think this problem has existed in almost all industries and still uh, be there. So yeah, I mean, what you see, the complications which you see in real estate is kind of reflection, and as the standardizations come into picture, and as the wide adoption comes into picture, that should get better.
For anyone who's ever been involved with a property transaction, we all know how slow and complicated it can be. As I mentioned myself, I've recently been through that process and I can also agree. From legal paperwork to compliance checks, there's a lot to keep track of, which just slows down the whole process. And
Yeah.
PropTech is helping streamline this process. So my question is, how exactly is it improving efficiency and transparency? Do you have any examples of how it's being used across this process?
So the PropTech significantly enhances the efficiency and transparency by simplifying complex processes such as due diligence, document management, and compliance checks. It provides seamless access to diverse digital data sources, enabling better decision making. So, to give an example, you could see that the digitization. So, if you have done a purchase, and if you have come across the searches part, the searches for a property is much easier once the data got digitized. So it's almost a predictable standard time of under 2 weeks that happens for the searches. And this is entirely thanks to the digital data, of which the searches means it's just, I mean, technologically, it's just a database search for that particular
Mm.
property for the kind of things like, being on a floodplain or um, earth movements or other projects which are coming around and all those things. So uh, also, the automation streamlines the real estate transaction, which offers self-service access for various use cases such as scheduling, payments, and contract execution. You would probably have appreciated, I mean, many times now because of the digital signing technology, you don't really have to go to an estate agent or go to a solicitor to do things. And there is also the blockchain technology that adds a layer of transparency by creating the immutable transaction records, which would reduce fraud and build trust. Blockchain has been much more being used nowadays in the financial world as well. Additionally, yeah, the buzzword AI. So AI tools deliver real-time insights and minimize delays and miscommunications while fostering greater collaboration among stakeholders. So um, PropTech would make uh, things much more transparent and less prone to mistakes, whereas it improves the efficiency. We are all short of time and we want things to happen in a click of button, and
Mm.
that's where PropTech is also aiming to bring the real estate industry to.
Another question I'd like to ask, you say how prop tech will make everything more transparent. What role would you say that better data management has to play in that? Some would argue that um, the data isn't managed the best in the first place. So are we jumping ahead of ourselves by adopting this technology?
Um, so it we cannot say jumping ahead. I think it would happen hand in hand
Mm.
because I guess everyone appreciates one thing. Customer experience is the key thing. So nobody wants to just wait around and be there. So the improvement happens from both sides. If you could imagine, there are several governmental organizations as well which has access to data, is really organizing it and mostly exposing it with mm, REST APIs or which makes it quite accessible for the technology. So I feel both are happening hand in hand. Of course,
Mm.
if everything had been sitting on paper or files, the PropTech could have done nothing. But there is that compelling factor for this sector to improve and the customer experience to improve. So at one side, the data digitization and data organization is picking up, and the the agencies are doing that. And of course, the motivation for doing them is probably the subscription to those APIs, which would be then subscribed by the PropTech and then provided as a value service to the users. So there is an advantage of time, and there is a commercial benefit, which is a monetary benefit, both for the data organizers or providers as well as the consumers of the data. So of course, when uh, someone can save time and someone can earn money, I feel things will move in that direction.
Yeah, thanks for explaining that. So, looking at the actual uptake of technology, even when there's a clear benefit to adopting new technology, it's not always easy to make it happen. Some companies struggle
Yeah.
with the cost, while others face resistance from professionals who are used to doing things a certain way. In your experience, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges real estate companies face when trying to implement new technology?
I mean, I wish there was an easy answer, but it's actually a combination of factors. Um, One thing is high upfront cost towards technologies, which could deter small companies, while the traditional mindset, which also had been existing for historic reasons, among many industry professionals as well, there is a resistance to change. Another is infrastructure limitation, especially in the less developed markets. And then real estate is a regulated industry as well. So the regulatory barriers also will slow down adoption. Like if there was a regulatory mandate that something had to be done in certain way, and then there could be doubts on when we adopt this technology, is it still compatible to the regulation? I mean, and so it requires a clarification, it requires a revisit. So this also could slow down the adoption. Um, so the key thing would, or the crucial thing would be educating the
Mm.
stakeholders about the long-term benefits. It's not really modernizing yourself just for the sake of modernizing, but it is to improve the overall process and to improve the customer experience.
Yeah, great. We haven't really spoken about this previously, but and I'm not sure whether you do operate in global markets, but these trends that you're seeing that we've spoken about today, are they the same in other markets? Are there any countries that are particularly doing well with technology and real estate?
So yes, as I mentioned, um, like the large players or the small players and the individual players, there are countries as well which are better in in terms of technology, and there could be different driving factors as well. As I touched upon in one of the previous questions, uh, the affordability is
Mm,
one aspect. So second, technology versus the labor cost. So,
yeah.
for example, there would be a higher push for a country to adopt the technology where uh, the human labor cost is higher and the value for human time is more. So, for example, there is a saying that in some of the poorer countries, there is no market for the surveillance cameras because you can easily get a person cheaper than that to sit there and actually do the surveillance. So there is no push for a technology behind surveillance camera or the AI there compared to another country where the human labor is much more costlier and the time, the personal time is much more valued, and you may not get a person to do a particular job on odd hours or over the weekends or extended hours or anything like that. So that could be one reason that countries lag behind. So one, they don't have money. Then they find people cheaper than the actual technology. But there are then other countries where they do have the money, and then people are not available all the time. And another thing is ease of adoption. So, like by any chance, if the legal system and the data system have progressed and it's already digitally available and people can be identified easily digitally, then the solutions can also work it out in a much easier way. So yes, there are, I mean, like large players or medium players and individual players, there are also countries which are lying in the different areas as well. However, I feel the forerunners will adopt it first, and then later at another point of time when the other countries develop or reach those reasons, or even just for the sake of technology adoption, they will eventually join the bandwagon.
Yeah.
That is my thought about it.
Thanks. And this couldn't be a prop tech. It's going to be a prop tech video without mentioning AI, could it? So AI and automation are changing the way in which all industries work. In real estate, we're seeing AI use for property valuations, chatbots handling customer inquiries, and automation taking care of routine admin tasks. So, what do you think this means for the real estate sector in terms of the workforce? And this is a really big question, especially as I mean, everyone has to admit they've had that fear of what AI is going to do to their jobs and how it's going to impact them in the future. So, do you think it will create more opportunities, or are there risks that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a good question. As you rightly told, it's not even restricted to real estate these days. Even people working in a technology business, or everyone thinks, oh, is AI and robots going to take up all the tasks or jobs? So, um, of course, AI and automation can handle the repetitive tasks, like data entry, which free up human resources for more strategic roles, such as client relationship management. Um, so there is, of course, a risk of job displacement for roles which are heavily reliant on manual process. So, for example, if you consider the finance side, I mean, banks, the teller used to be a human being who used to sit at a counter, and which, I mean, who a position which was largely got replaced by cash machines or teller machines mostly. Uh, However, of course, the workers with um, vast amount of domain knowledge, they wouldn't really lose their jobs, but it's upskilling and
Mm.
reskilling the workforce. So probably a person who was just sitting and counting cash notes or uh, dollar bills have moved to a much better or sophisticated role to navigate this shift. So it's not essentially a lost job, but it's a job displacement, as I would see.
Mm.
If you think historically, there had been many roles like that which has disappeared, uh, but I think people are handling much more emotionally and intellectually satisfying roles these days. I mean, people used to fetch water and take it to households, but now we have pipes and water
Yeah.
supplies doing that. Is anyone really worried about that? No, because people will upskill. And in a way, if you are hustling and bustling with a lot of things, actually, on contrary, AI would make things much easier in handling those things, like even handling a level of customer service and customer interactions and things like that. So I think people will have much advanced tools and they can do their jobs much better, and it would be even uh, intellectually and emotionally satisfying, as I would see it.
Yeah, I like that example about the water. That's how I put it into perspective to people as well, is think about all of these traditional roles and how many exist now and how many do we need. I do like that. And it's also interesting really because um, well, if we look at the whole vast range of jobs that AI will change, look back when people wanted to learn coding to stay ahead of the trade and the trend, and they wanted to be a software developer, and they developed a code which then became AI that can now code itself. And it's quite interesting, even when you look at it in that perspective of even jobs that are already technologically advanced are being changed by AI. But moving back to looking at real estate, we've made progress in areas like property searches and transaction management, but there's still parts of the industry that haven't seen much change. For example, modular construction, 3D printing could revolutionize how buildings are developed, but they're not widely used yet. So, what would you say are some areas that, what do you think are some areas that are ready for disruption but haven't quite taken off yet?
So if we come from the common use cases,
Mm.
um, and this is from my experience as well, property showcasing and management is still relatively underexplored, with significant opportunities to enhance the efficiency and user experience through innovative prop tech solutions. Um, And as you mentioned, on the development side, construction side, technologies like modular construction and 3D printing hold immense potential to
Mm.
reduce the cost, minimize waste, and accelerate the construction timelines, but have yet to achieve widespread adoption. So we still do have, I mean, things being cut to what you need, and then rest of the thing which go as a general waste or landfill, and is again additional cost and increases the labor cost as well. But imagine, something coming prefabricated and just building up as Lego. So we have the plan, we have everything, and imagine a situation where parts are manufactured as per that, and we don't drill holes. We know where things should go, where all the fittings should go, and everything comes like that. And we just it's more like I would say some of the, for example, IKEA flat pack. So
Mm.
we don't throw away things from that. We don't cut anything there. We don't have to drill anything there. We know what we are ordering, and it comes to the measure, and we just fit things together. There's no wastage there, and yeah. So that is just an analogy. And uh, on the planning side, on the urban planning or predictive modeling, I think still big data can play a big role, and it's still in its infancy, and probably it can revolutionize how cities are designed and managed. Other things, yeah, I mean, big importance is sustainable building technology and energy efficient retrofitting. This is also still pretty untapped, and has the potential for disruption. And there are needs to align with the global goals for environmental sustainability. You might see that government is trying to enforce that on commercial buildings or buildings which are in the rental market, even uh, by even by financial organizations giving green mortgages as well, depending on the energy efficiency rating of buildings. So it's all flowing there in that direction. And for this, for achieving these goals, the advancement in prop tech is a necessity.
Great. And as a final question, as you're working on the front line of this innovation in real estate, what innovative solutions or strategies do you envision introducing to address these challenges and drive transformation across the industry?
We aim to deliver scalable prop tech solutions tailored to the diverse needs of the real estate market. As mentioned earlier, there are players of different sizes there, and also emphasizing the affordability. So going by models of subscription, something which can be broken to monthly, yearly expenditure so that they don't have upfront costs, and also ease of adoption. And also, our key initiatives include leveraging AI and automation to streamline the processes such as property showcasing, management, transaction handling, and market analysis. The solutions are primarily designed to reduce operational costs while enhancing the customer convenience. As I mentioned before, I mean, anything which can cut down on the cost, which brings in financial advantage. And of course, customer is the king. So I mean, enhancing the customer convenience would definitely be beneficial and would stay. We also plan to introduce tools that enable data-driven decision making, providing the real-time insights and seamless self-service experience for the users. Um, Collaborating closely with the regulators and industry bodies will remain central to our strategy because it's regulated, and there are standards, and we have to adhere to that. And this would ensure the standardization and fostering a unified approach to digital transformation across the real estate ecosystem. And yeah, that's the vision we have.
Great stuff. And I think that brings us to the end of our conversation. So thank you very much, Prateek, for sharing such valuable insights about technology adoption in real estate. It's been great to really explore the challenges, opportunities, and future direction of prop tech within the industry. If you'd like to learn more about technology in the built environment, check out the Tech Partner page on the RICS website. And yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. We regularly share our updates there, so feel free to drop a message. But for today, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And thanks, Prateek.
Thank you very much, and thanks, Aaliyah and RICS, for this opportunity and very engaging discussion. Thank you.